what do you think is the relationship between possessing a strong cultural identity and the capacity to understand and share the values of others? I'm saying this to you because I see you've moved out of your country, you want to travel, you want to see the world. So what made you do that? And according to that reply to, do you think, what's the relation between this cultural identity and is it important to possess a strong cultural identity, or is it important to share the values with others?
I think that inevitably, of course, we always possess cultural identity because we are products of where we grow up, our societies. I personally, though, have not seen in my lifetime any particular benefit from having a very strong, staunch, more closed cultural stance, whereby saying, well, I'm from this culture, this is the way we do things, and this is the way I expect life to be. I think that we definitely live in a global society. Everything is interconnected. People not only travel physically, but people travel virtually through the internet. There's so much a cultural exchange that I honestly feel like being a global citizen is so much more important now, and even if you don't want to be a global citizen, you have no choice. The fact is, the world is interconnected. Governments, societies, everything is totally dependent on each other. So what is the point of being so specific to a place, That being said, I definitely feel like there's cultural heritage that should be preserved. It's a fine line, I think, between wanting to preserve your cultural heritage and also wanting to adapt to the way the world is today, which is such a multicultural situation.
Is it possible to do both?
It's a very good question. I think that there's ways to preserve the fundamental ideas and values of a culture, but adapt them to meet the modern day realities. For the most part. Although there may be some things that honestly should be left behind. Maybe there are some parts of a culture that culture developed because, in my opinion, in reaction to the way the world was at a specific time, And I think that maybe there are some things culturally for certain cultures that don't really apply anymore, that they don't need to have those things in place anymore because that's not the way the world is today. In those situations, I definitely think that you can just leave those aspects of your culture behind because they don't really serve any purpose. But I think that there's definitely certain heritage and the arts, for example, which I think are often overlooked, but definitely there's such an abundance there that when it's shared, I think enriches everybody.